You remember what we spoke here about? Somehow? Okay. Shall we go through this 78 slides again? I know some of you do not like when I speak about number of slides. And how about the adoption? Do we know where we are? So we are up, down, in the middle, behind. So my perception before I asked you yesterday was, okay, we are lagging as a society. And maybe there is nothing wrong about it. This is my perception. And then some of you stood up yesterday and spoke where actually we are. And it was quite inspiring. Let me start with a story, and again, apologize for those who do not like when I speak how I prepare for this. But now we speak about the planning, maybe not planning. I'll get to this point as well. Those of you who knows me know that my brain do not work like straight. So up to the very moment, I'm not ready with what I want to tell you. It is not that I'm not preparing myself, it's the other way around. I start preparation like weeks back, months back. But then to tell you the story, it takes me to the very moment, in the morning or whatever. But after I have a story, I need to prepare the slides. So there is a story. Last night when I left you, I came back home, my computer told me, go to bed. Because I will not cooperate. And then I was thinking, oh shit, who can I call? But then I took some coke and then it started collaborating. But it's all about planning, right? It's all about planning. Tell the God about your plans to make him smile. So this is my planning, but this was my story. And we talk today not about the planning, but about the predicting. And maybe predicting is a big word. You know, the future is quite uncertain, so we may think of what it could be, and we will talk about how we usually approach this next days, next weeks, or next minutes. There is a longer part to this planning, but I will leave it for next meeting. Okay, so we used to plan the future based, or predict the future based on the past. And sometimes it works, sometimes it do not. So if you think of the pace of development, we saw it yesterday. So this happened over 24 months of time. So what would be the next?
Eating the burger.
Sorry?
Eating the burger.
That's a good one.
Oh, eating the burger. Three-dimensional. And maybe this is it, right? Maybe this is it. And I think 2 years back, when I was in my previous job, the company I worked for, they created this term when the atoms meet bits. Right? So the bits are our LLMs. This is AI. Atoms are the physical world. They are disconnected. And I really like this term, right? So when the digital world will influence the physical world, this is potentially what you have just said. We'll tell to the LLM, make it 3D and tasty and smelly, and then you bite it. Last time in your life. But, so we are here, we are enjoying, we are talking, we are sharing knowledge, we are inspiring each other. But then, these guys are working on something, right? And what do they work on? There is something called Sora. Have you seen it? The video out of it? It's so realistic. It could be, I guess, 30 frames per second. I'm not sure to what extent they can steer it, but it's amazing. It's not about to showcase it here, but it's unusual, unbelievable. So, but these are just, mid-journey, one platform. But you remember, if we take a step back, you remember, this is the progression. Many of these will disappear, fly or die. We don't know. But if we again take approach, this is the past, this is the present, and there is a future, it will get more and more complex. So, if you would like to think of the past in the context of AI, this could be reflected this way. This is where it started in a way, with a Turing test. And you see, it's not just one direction. It's ups and down, ups and down. And I put the arrow here, and I'm not sure if consciously. This one is certain. But if you think of what we saw, we could map it out here. Right? You remember from yesterday. And then the first time someone approached to define it was a guy, I didn't wrote it clearly here, but there's a definition which was coined at Dormo.
Minsky.
What?
Minsky.
Thank you. Thank you. And this is I guess one of the latest, the oldest one. And then we could divide this into a few stages. Waves, good term. So you see, these waves or stages, they nicely divide this, and they have certain labels with reflection of what was happening there. So let's imagine we try to reflect these to any of these. So could it look like this, or like this? But what happened then after this, or that, right? Let's zoom in. Yeah, it's called AI winter. We are in autumn right now. Winter is coming. But are we brave enough to judge, to predict, to say? So let's try to focus on this part. So, and this is funny. This is how AI is collaborating. And I apologize for those of you who do not familiarize with this shape of the car. I know there are a few of you from different brands. It wasn't for purpose. And I even asked, if you could make it for Renault, BMW, and Toyota, you don't know what it did. You really don't know. You really don't want. Okay, so we are kind of climbing, and we don't know what's behind, right? So, if we are climbing, let's start from certain. I will work it out, and then I will show you. This is, surgery, and the patient is still awake. Because this slide should be visible, and this is not. Okay. Okay, this should be that. Okay, good. Everything is under control. Okay, so it's climbing, and then we have 3 scenarios here. It's much better with this, right? So this is the hill, top of the hill. Either we go, continue climbing, and there is potentially AGI. We spoke about AGI yesterday. Or there is something in between, or there is something, we can talk about it later, snake oil. Have you heard about snake oil? Who of you have heard? Okay, good, nice. So, which story you would like to start from?
Snake oil.
Yeah.
Come on. Too little, too few. So let's start from the kind of defining what we talk about. So right now we are in the stage of narrow AI, very narrow AI. Still, although it can do many things, it's narrow. There are 2 other terms: general artificial intelligence or artificial superintelligence. So what is AGI? I will not read it out loud. It's simple, but there will be a couple of them. Which means there is non-single definition of it, and people are debating, so to say. There's another one. And there's another one. Keep going. And there's another one. But, you know, these are just the proposals, but we should think of them pretty seriously. Why? Because some of these brands, they put these, sorry for not making it clear, just copy paste. Some of this, they put this term into their mission statement. And OpenAI did a similar thing. And it's not to bother you with all of these quotes. But if we go deeper, there is a proposal from Google DeepMind what the AGI is. And it's a little bit different than the one I showed you yesterday. You remember these 5 stages. The first one, conversational AI. And the last one, autonomous organizations. We'll get to this one as well. So what they put here is this structure. How to read it? So you have a performance defined, we'll go through this in this column, and then you have narrow artificial intelligence, and you have general artificial intelligence. I didn't add the sources here, but this is a document publicly available. So if you zoom in here, so how do they define it? Level 0, no AI. Level 1, equal to or somewhat better than an unskilled human. Level 2, competent, which is at least 50th percentile of skilled adults. Level 3, at least 19th percentile of skilled adults. And then we have level 4, virtuoso, at least 99th percentile of skilled adults. You understand the percentiles, right? And then you have a superhuman, which is so someone should set this as a KPIs in the in the company, right? But if we look at where we are on these dimensions, either narrow or general, we could pick this one. And why? Because things like Grammarly, spelling and grammar checkers, such as Grammarly, generative models, such as Imagine 2022 and DALL-E 2, they are present right now. And there is no definition here what could it be in the following column, right? I mean, not definition, there is no example maybe, this way. Because if we take Grammarly, it applies here perfectly, right? It can write much better than possibly many of us. Okay, so if you think of the future of AI, the funny thing is it depends on us, it depends on people, right? And there is a guy, so talking about people, there's a guy, Dario Amodei. He left, I think, OpenAI at 2023 or 2022. He took 10% of staff from OpenAI and he founded Anthropic. This is on the next slide. You see Anthropic on the top one. And what he says is how it works. You get a bunch of money, so this is the investors. You buy for this money a bunch of chips, the GPUs from NVIDIA or others. You take part of this money and you put into the training of the model, and then you have the mathematics. Right? As easy as it is. So if you put 100 million, you have a freshman college. If you put 1 billion, and by the way, this is what is claimed to be 60 to 100 million. It's claimed to be invested into GPT-4, I guess. This is how much it took to train GPT-4, 60 to 100 million. So you take 1 billion, and we could go, but then we wouldn't be on time, would go with other names of people who act in this way, you know, grabbing the money, getting the money from investors, just because of what their name looks like. And they do interesting things. So 1 billion advanced undergraduate, 10 billion, and this one, we can expect Gemini 2, possibly, is about like this. I don't know about things like GPT-5, but I guess we are somewhere here, right? And then this one, there is no, I guess, resources, and by resources we can talk about twofold: the GPUs and the power.
Isn't AlphaFold just won the Nobel Prize?
Say it again, please.
Isn't AlphaFold just won the Nobel Prize?
Especially the investment you need to get the Nobel Prize is less than that.
And they pay 1 million on it. So the return ratio is not the best one.
Yeah, but I mean, AlphaFold is a pretty huge business.
Yes, it is. It is. It is. And you know, we could go through this, and this was one of my idea how to visualize it for you, to drop the AlphaFold there, because it's quite a discovery. Okay, so this is, we can take it or we can leave it, but this is a proposal, right? And he gave a good interview. This is from this interview, where he talks about, and this is, by the way, quite good activity to follow. This guy is talking on various podcasts or the interviews. We can learn many things, I guess. Okay, so this is what we saw, and then let's get back to this way of visualizing the AGI. So yesterday we spoke about this level. It's kind of achieved. We debated about the reasoning capabilities, and you show it's okay. Someone said it is reasoning, but someone will ask, so what reasoning is all about? And then it's this one. And the funny thing is, everyone is claiming we do the agents, but not funny thing is, our clients are starting us to build them agents. And this is not build me an agent. Build me an agent. It's very well prepared request. And there is crazy technology set behind. And we can get one of our superheroes to talk about these technologies, but it is not artificial. People either follow the trends or they really can define the problem and think that this could be a solution for the problem. So what agent could mean, we spoke yesterday, it's autonomous to a certain extent. It has autonomy to a certain extent, and it can execute on the task like 50 separate tasks aggregated in an executable shape of form. And then you can imagine you have a tool and you tell it, order me a flight to somewhere. And this means you need to give it credentials, the credit card, your calendar, and multiple things, right? But I'm not talking about such tool that we are being approached with query, but this is, you know, it is blurred. I guess we cannot think, okay, before we get here, we need to reach here. It is not like this. I think it is uneven distribution where we see certain results on either of these stages. Okay, so far so good. Any questions? So if we think, okay, so we are still on this road to AGI. So if you think what will happen next, what we can predict, and there are some statements, some claims that, there is this very beautiful report, State of AI, which is annually published. And there is a summary, what these guys predict what will happen next year. And then year to year, they assessed what materialized and what not. Right? And I don't want to bother you with these things, but we can roughly go through what will happen. Okay, so we see these things are advancing, and they will continue. What it means? It means quality-wise. It means they are multi-languages more and more. There are already present ones which can speak to you or talk to you in 100 languages, I guess, without any issue. And they will be growing, and this is happening right now this year. So what we can expect next year is this thing, multimodality. So by far, and this is not up to date any longer, when you want to talk to the machine, what was happening behind the scene was, okay, you use the voice, your voice behind the scene is converted to text. All logic operations are being done on the text, then it's converted back to the voice, and then the voice is emitted to you. So this is how it worked by far. But now, it is no longer the only option. Right now, you have voice-to-voice capability with less than few hundred milliseconds delay. So we could interact, and I could be this thing, artificial, and you wouldn't spot that, there is a delay claiming that I am thinking, right? So this will grow, certainly, right? We could explore it, but I guess not today. And then this one, right? We spoke about this a little bit. Although I think that the next year will be this multimodality growing, then there is a shift in time toward the AI agents to show up and grow, as we are not the shiniest, the brightest. And if we are being approached with these queries, there is a certain movement on the market. And you can see the noise around, we do agents, right? But this is what we can expect. So the question would be, so what? So what? And there is another interesting document. This guy are working silently, but then they publish something, and you see, this is published 2023. And what's all about? It's GPTs, an early look at the labor market impact potential of large language models. So they understand the impact, right? So they understand how to say it? Influential, how disruptive this thing can be. And they did this assessment. So they did a scale, and they proposed the probability or exposure of the certain activity. Just to make it a little bigger. So you can see what they predict is mathematicians will be very, very much exposed. And this is the human, and this is against a certain model, and there is, again, good document, good visualization of how they think of it, but the outcome is not promising. All right? So these things are disruptive, and The first thing is to be aware, and we are all aware, I guess, but then the second thing is to learn, to understand. But I showed you yesterday how we internally approach this topic. You remember this. So this is our main process, how we do develop applications, right? We are a software house. We, you remember my claim? We do custom software, and we do it well. And we do think, okay, so, and this is not detailed to the extent that we could map it out, but it is just, you know, the visualization, how we can think of it. This could lead to detailed capability mapping, or capability maps, as we do right now. And then you can think which of your organization and which of your activities is exposed to these things. And why to think of it? Because then you can take advantage of it and think of how you can improve things. Accelerate, optimize, I know, make it better, right? So this is, again, this is what we are doing internally, just to understand our exposure and our potential gain of these things. But if we do not know, then we cannot prepare ourselves ahead. You may remember the slide when we spoke about the change. Either we proactively prepare for the change, or we reactively act to the change, which is happening behind the scene. Okay, so this is kind of pause on this path to AGI. It doesn't look somehow, but it looks somehow. So let's take a quick look on the other one, and this will be a very quick look. Snake oil. So in early 90s, in 90, I think it was precisely 1905. How to say it?
1905.
Not 1905, right? When this was happening. So the snake oil was brought to States by Chinese people. And it has some capabilities of curing due to the, I guess, omega-3 oxides, right? But then, when people recognize that there is a huge demand on this, many of them started claiming whatever we do is the same. It's snake oil. And it has either no impact or was harmful for people. And in 1906, the FDA was established. Recognized FDA, Food Drug Authority, right? And they started regulated it in a way, but it took some time before it kind of fly. So we may think, it must be important. We may think of AI development. By the way, I recommend this book. It talks about this story and it maps it out to, and this is fresh. This is September 24th, unpublished. It maps the story of snake oil to the current situation of AI. But we may think in this way, people take the advantage of the hype and they claim of various things. And we can be victim of these claims. And as you remember from yesterday, the best approach to adoption of AI is to learn how to define the problem, right? Understand what your capabilities are, understand how AI can help you, and kind of prepare for it. Because we could think of being, how to say it, being manipulated, maybe this is a bold word, but being drawn toward the direction which we possibly wouldn't like to end up, and then being published in the report 80% of the AI projects fails, right? Okay, so the future is, what is the future? The future is unknown, and I think the most we can do is to keep learning, keep talking, keep searching, keep inspiring, and just simply let's continue talking about AI. Right? And after all of what you heard yesterday and today, what do you think? What do you see? Okay, I will help you stretch your hands. Half glass full. Nice. Half glass empty. Okay.
It's an artificial.
Okay, thank you guys. It was a pleasure.